tonight's program is on what is called good sex. Now, I personally find the word sex to be very diminishing. And for me, it always implies the concept of take it. And it never really conveys the depth of what an intimate relationship between a man and a woman, a husband and wife, really is. People would say, you know, shall we have coffee or sex? No, two completely different things. So I have an aversion to that word. I refer to it as making love, which in a way better describes the embrace of complete physical and spiritual union. We know that men are very visual. They tend to be more stimulated by their spouse's naked body. But for us women, actually, it is the feeling of being completely trusted, loved in an exclusive, unconditional way. Our emotional relationship is very important when it comes to an intimate relationship. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You agree with me?
Yes, and that's something that I've had to learn over time, that if we want to really enjoy a deep, fulfilling sexual relationship together, we want to really make love in a very fulfilling and passionate way that's fulfilling for both of us, then I really need to pay attention to my wife's emotional state as well. And as men, we are often clueless about what's going on inside our wives' brains. So actually the conversation and the sharing and the trust that we build in doing that is key to actually having, you know, a fulfilling relationship when we're making love. So this act of making love is actually a God-given gift that we have. So in the act of, or in the process of a man and a woman coming together, this is a creative process. So of course, you know, a child can be created from this union, but it's also the give and take action that happens in making love actually creates a new energy, a new sense of closeness and commitment and joining together. So it's this horizontal relationship where God's vertical love comes into the center of that relationship and is meant to be a holy and sacred act and not something that you just engage in a very casual way. So I think the first thing that we need to think about when we are engaging in this, you know, the act of making love is actually how we can bring fulfillment to our spouse. So we need to think not about my own fulfillment, but what I can give. So communication around that and sharing, you know, does this, what would you like? What feels nice? Can really help to grow our sexual experience, and we can, you know, be creative and surprising and innovative and make love an expression of our creativity as we engage in that relationship.
One thing also that we need to bear in mind is that the needs change with age. As a couple goes through different stages of their life, the needs for an intimate relationship may change. And I think it's important to discuss and communicate with your partner when this is happening. You know, women really go through a tremendous change internally, physically. And it's always important to communicate, and men actually do the same. It's really paramount to have an open heart and conversation when these things happen, and not to be surprised, but to be supportive.
I think many of you, I think, are quite young and beginning your relationship, but so the way that you relate to each other in the bedroom now is probably going to be very different from after you start having children. And then you need to have these discussions again, and it needs to be an ongoing discussion. So maybe some of you wonder, what Daniela and I are actually doing while we're doing this program for the 14th time. And actually, we find it very valuable to go through the workbook and have the discussions again, because we realize that actually our relationship continues to grow and to change. And there are things that we need to bring out and talk about. And it's always a developing relationship. So we'd encourage you also, don't just have this discussion once and then think that it's all done, as we were saying previously. Communication is not a means to create a relationship. Communication is the relationship. And if you remember that, that's really important. So anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it just, I was thinking about my parents will be married 65 years in December, right after Christmas will be their 65th wedding anniversary. And for most of those years, until quite recently, they've actually enjoyed a sexual relationship. So you've got a lot to look forward to if you can make it to 65 years. So let me share the video here, and then we can begin tonight's program. Well, that was an interesting session, wasn't it? Yes, we don't see anybody, but that's okay. So a couple of points that I got from this program. One is that 66 years of age is when you can expect the greatest sex. I've got something to look forward to still.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, considering we are same age.
And okay, and we were talking a lot about romance as well, and what does romance mean? And I realized that romance is something that usually comes from the men to the woman. As women want to be romanced, men don't want to be romanced so much, right?
Yeah, I don't like to be romanced.
Yeah, but anyway, and often the worldly concept of romance is very much superficial and almost exhibitionist. And that, I think, is a very temporary thing. So we really need to define a new kind of romance. And for me, romance, the things when I feel the most romantically attracted and connected to Daniela is really when we are being vulnerable with each other, when we're expressing our inner fears or apologizing or really connecting on a deeper level. And I think those are really special moments as well.
Yeah. And you wanted to share something?
Oh, yeah. And
also,
we wanted to talk about this as well. So, this is the Mark Gungor, and he has this program called Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage. Okay. And we went to this webinar live, and we actually saw him a few years back. It was like 10 years ago, nearly.
no, less, but
Anyway, but he's so funny, and it's a great program. And you can buy it online, and you can do it yourself as well. But he talks about the number one secret to great sex. And you know what the number one secret to great sex is? It's exclusivity. What does exclusivity mean? And we talked about it a lot in this program, but it means having one person that you focus your love on and your relationship on. And that's what marriage is all about. But when I have found in my life, especially in the early years of our marriage, that I had a tendency to let my eyes wander and to look at other women and appraise their beauty. And that caused a lot of pain in our relationship, because my wife was always thinking like, you don't care about me and you don't love me. And those things are really subtle, especially from a man's side, but it's also from a woman's. If a woman is doing that same thing, if they're off socializing and having a relationship with somebody else, it makes the man feel very unappreciated and that he's not worthwhile. So that focus on each other is so key to building intimacy in your sexual relationship, and also to affair proof your marriage as well. You really have to train your eyes, train your heart to just be focused on your spouse each and every day. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
So,
I hope you enjoyed the session.
yes, and I hope you take time to do the exercises this coming week. There are a lot of interesting things that you probably talked about in this session. You might want to put some of those into practice. All right, everybody. Have a nice evening and enjoy your weekend. Oh, we got a little chat message. Yep. Electric motors are hot. Okay.
Good.
You can go and do some practice. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, everyone.